Good morning, traders and investors around the world, and welcome to Thank God It's Friday edition of premarketinfo.com, where we prepare you for the most important hour of the day, the first hour. How you doing this morning, Dennis?
Pretty good here, Joel. Pretty good. It's good to be Friday.
Well, starting out, the S&Ps have had only an 11-point range this morning. We made a Globex low here of 73.50, made a high at 12.84 and a quarter. If that 12.73.50 holds as a low of the day, we have an upside target over 1,300, Dennis, 1304. If that 12.84 and a quarter holds up as the high of the day, we have a downside target of 12.53.75. Need to keep an eye on the close there, 82.50. That was just $2 below the high. So we've got some nice resistance in that area, and below that 11.73.50, folks, there's a lot of real estate on the downside. Moving on to the Big Ten, Dennis, correctly, as you were speaking yesterday about the technology stocks, really didn't seem to participate in the rally as much as the financials did yesterday. A good example of that would be Apple Computer, who was just able to take out a 6-day high, but only by a little bit. So that 409 area is going to be excellent resistance. Coming back on the downside, the close now will be also minor resistances too. But if we take out yesterday's low at the 401.89 area, we're going to have a nice little trip south.
Yeah, Joel, same thing. I agree. Obviously, some of the tech stocks didn't move quite as much yesterday. Today, it should be more in line. You would think Apple's actually in line this morning, down $1.69 when the SPUs are down 0.5%. Apple's down 0.5%. So it seems to be trading with fair value a little bit better here this morning. I still like the 400 as a psychological number. I know we didn't quite get there yesterday, 401.89. But, that could be a good swing number for you traders again. I'll continue to use that for my swing number until it doesn't look like a good swing number anymore.
Okay. All right. Now, ExxonMobil had some decent earnings yesterday. Made a high at 82.27 before peeling back at 81.88. So you should find some nice resistance in between those two levels. Thursday's low got almost to that double top area where we broke out from. So that from 80.50 to 80.69 should be good support in that stock this morning. Below that, I'm looking out for Tuesday's low at 79.18.
Yeah, ExxonMobil had an interesting pre-market. Was trading up, then it struggled to get through that 82 area like we thought it might. Did eventually take it out and get as high as 82.20, but kind of just settled in. And actually wasn't that volatile yesterday. Kind of a tight range at $1.60 for a stock that released earnings. Usually ExxonMobil has an average range probably in that range, so it was kind of tight. It's trading down here a bit this morning, 81.49 after closing at 81.88. We are waiting on CVX numbers, so that might influence ExxonMobil as well.
Okay, IBM, Dennis, I'm almost back up to that area where it gapped down on the earnings play. It's just kind of sneaked its way up there. We have a 187 high. I have a 185.88 close on that, Dennis. Thursday's low at 183.89. I'll call that support, but we got a number just below that, a little gap there, 183.18. So let's call 183, 187, perhaps the range in IBM today.
Yeah, well, it did fill that gap yesterday, Joel, like we thought it might. Obviously, it's been moving around. It had a pretty good range, 4 points yesterday, so it could have some little added volatility here again. Is trading down slightly this morning, 185.68 after closing 185.88. I think I like that range. Maybe it could be a type of day, where a 185, I think you might find some support, but, you really don't have that much until 183 again, Joel.
Okay, Microsoft, Dennis, got back above 27.40, actually to 27.41. So just alert our listeners again to the importance of this 27.40 to 27.50 area. We pulled back a little bit from there, so heck, if it gets up there, you might as well try shorting it again. We are below the close, so that should act as some minor resistance. Coming down, it just got mild support here until you have the old Wednesday close and Thursday's low at the 26.65, the 26.69 level.
Man, we don't make all the right calls, but we've been all over this 27.40, Joel. We've talked about this level for the last 2 weeks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times it's traded and topped out near this 27.30 to 27.40 area. Again, yesterday's high, 27.40, pulling back this morning to 27.09. So if you shorted off that level again, congratulations, because you can now take a 30-cent profit. Obviously, if it gets back up there again, why not try it? I remember back in the day, I had a level like this on GE. It was back when it was over $150 a share. Remember when GE actually used to be a really expensive stock? I remember this one trade. I actually shorted off a specific level like that, a technical level. 12 times I got it. And I was like, after I did it the third time, well, you got to do it every time now because it's worked so many times. So if you've been shorting that level, keep doing it until it doesn't work anymore. It takes out the 27.50, then get out. But, your risk return has been great shorting that 27.40 area.
Okay, Chevron Corporation, all-time high yesterday, 110.01. Cleared out the sellers in the book at 110. They didn't have much to do with the 110s they bought it, covering their shorts or even going long. Settled back to close at 108.97. Traded down here in the pre-market. 106.91 was where we broke out from. That was a triple top area. Couldn't even get there yesterday with the 107.62 low. 107.62 was yesterday's low, but I would use that to cover a short. I don't know if I'd actually initiate any longs. Probably would rather wait until that 107 area.
Yeah, Chevron, we talked about that 110 area. Did get up there, actually did take out some of the size. There still is some size. There was a print at 110.01, but there's still some size in the book, so I don't know if that guy got totally cleared. I see 40,000 at 110. It was larger than that, so he definitely got nibbled on pretty good, though. Obviously, we're waiting on earnings here on Chevron as well, so that's going to impact the stock, but that 110 continues to be major resistance. So until we start trading, significantly above 110, not even significantly, just taking out that 110, trading 110.10 or 110.20, I still think that area is to be short.
Okay, J&J finally took care of that seller at 65 after trading above 65 in the pre-market, opened just below there. Took that seller out, made a nice high at 65.69 before closing at 65.50. Currently trading a little bit below that level, so we'll use that 65.5 up to 65.69 as major resistance. We take that out. I see a little bit in low 66s, but the big number for today could be 66.69, which was our highs way back on July 21st and 22nd. Coming down the downside, mild support at Thursday's low, but below that you really have some congestion from the 63.56 up to 63.79 area.
I've got size sellers in the book up here at new levels again. So $66, which is actually a technical number where we topped out August and September. I see another 80,000 shares there. So again, just like before, 65.90s should get thick with the HFT guys. And look for, swing traders probably selling in the 65.80s ahead of those high frequency guys. So imagine pretty good resistance, 65.80s and 90s. If it takes that out, I see a lot, 200,000 at 66.62. Weird number, but that's, obviously going to provide resistance there as well if that seller is real and solid. But the 66 guy looks to be solid, so expect your initial resistance just below 66.
Okay, Procter & Gamble kind of was all over the map yesterday after the earnings. Got up to Monday's high, which was 65.89, 20 cents short of that at 65.69. So that's the whole area be real good resistance in the stock. 65.26 was the close. So that should be your first area of minor resistance. Coming back on the downside, we just got a whole host of numbers here at the $64 level. Minor support would come in at 65.31, but the real level would be the 64.06 to 64.18 level.
$66, Joel. I still like that number. We didn't quite get there yesterday, 65, 67, but there is some size up there as well. So that continues to be major resistance for the stock.
Okay, moving on to AT&T, was able to bust through those highs at 29.40 and close above there at 29.47. Got 29.67 as the highest the stock's been in a long time. Above that, 29.90 was our high back on August 31st. Coming back on the downside, you got a little gap to fill between Wednesday's high and Thursday's low at the 29.05 to 28.95 level.
Yeah, and $30, I don't think that'll come into play. 29.47 is trading down, but if it does come into play, you'll see major resistance up at that psychological 30 because we haven't been there for a couple of months. There was a 29.90 top before. I'd imagine you got some size sellers at 30, which is maybe why we topped out back in September at 29.90.
Okay, GE busted through that 1698 level, last week's high, got up to 1750 before peeling back, settling at 1737. We are below that level, so you have nice resistance here from 1737 up to 1750. Above that, you have the August 2nd high, 1788. Coming back on the downside, you do have a little bit of that gap situation to fill between 1681, your initial level of support, and 1651.
Breakout day for GE. Look at that, Joel. It only took a 50 S&P point day or 45 S&P point day to finally get this dog to have its day. But anyways, nice breakout. 17 was key resistance. Maybe that gives you some support on the pullback here if it pulls back that far. 18, we actually bottomed out there back in June. We kind of bottomed out just above there in July, broke through it in August. So I think you'll see some resistance. If this rally was to continue over the next few days, I think you'll see it up at 18 again.
Okay, Coca-Cola sneaked over that 69 level, 69.09 high, currently trading below that. So you should find some excellent resistance at that 69 level. Also, since we're trading below the close at 68.57, that should be your first stopping point on a rally. 68.10, Thursday's low. Nice gap between Wednesday's high and Thursday's low that needs to be filled. Dennis, before we close the show, I'm just looking at my trade station here, and I'm noticing some discrepancies between what I have as the close from last night and what's on my screen.
Yes, Joel, actually if you're trading with TradeStation, there's actually some NeoVest products. I've actually noticed even on big charts, there's some closes that are actually wrong here. On Ready Plus, the quotes all seem to be correct. I don't know, I can't promise that, but just looking at it, they all look to be correct on Ready. So if you're trading on Ready, I don't think you have a problem. But if you're trading on TradeStation, you're trading on any NeoVest products here this morning, or looking, so whoever's the quote provider for those software, some of the closes are wrong. I'm looking at a Pepsi close. The Pepsi close says on the one software 62.32. That is wrong. The close is 62.88. I'm looking at Agilent, which is symbol A, says the close over there is $37.84. That is wrong. The close is actually $40. So okay. I'm seeing maybe about 20 to 30 stocks here. So it doesn't, I don't know. It's definitely not all the stocks, but there is some stocks that have the wrong closes out there. So just be very, very careful. Make sure, if you're doing any spreadsheets or anything like that, that you're checking the closing prices and make sure they're correct.
Okay. We'll be back with the second portion of our show. Thank you.